prayer practices, the practice of Bible study, practicing the presence of God, searching the Bible, searching the scriptures in community with others. All of those things are practices that, when done on a regular basis, helped you to learn to follow the voice of the shepherd, the voice of the master, the voice of Christ. The way that the sentence that I wrote down was, all of these disciplines, they're ways to cultivate attention. And I think that that's one of the hardest things to do when you're thinking about, how do you know? This was the biggest question for me. How do I know that the voices that I'm listening to are the voice of God rather than the voice of my parents, the voice of my friends, the voice of the world, these other voices? How do I sift through the voices? And I think what I would say is that what I've learned, having been trying to do this in a serious way for a while, for years at this point, is that what you pay attention to is what you will see and hear.
What you pay attention to is what you will see and hear.
Yeah, I think that if you pay attention, so my favorite analogy for this is, I wanted to buy a pickup truck when I was in my 20s. And so I started searching for pickups, and I particularly wanted a Ford F-150. So I started seeing them everywhere. They were all over. I had not been seeing this particular kind of truck until I started searching for it. And then, having begun a search for it, I saw them everywhere. And I think it's the same way for me with paying attention to, when I started to get serious about, all right, now I want to pay attention to listen for and look for the activity of God in the world. I became more aware of things that are happening around me that that I attribute to the activity of God, the reality of God breaking in, pressing into the world around me. And I think all of those things help me discover my purpose and my calling. As we kind of wrap this conversation up, one of the things that you said that I think is impactful, and it's in the reading plan, as you kind of turn, we look at different stories. So there's Ruth, there's Samuel, there's Isaiah. You'll read all about that as you engage the plan. One of the things you say towards the end is that a calling or a purpose, it's not a job. It's first to a relationship with Christ. Just unpack that a little more. Help us to understand that as our first calling, our highest calling.
Yeah. So if our calling is to follow the Lord and follow Jesus, then we have to know Jesus. We have to know his voice. We have to spend time with him. We have to follow Moses's lead and pitch our tent outside of the camp, to intentionally meet and seek the Lord. There's a verse in Jeremiah that says, you will find me, God's talking, you will find me when you seek me. And there's an old song, worship song that's coming to my mind. That's, the more I seek you, the more I find you. The more I find you, the more I love you. And so following Jesus, following a calling, following his call is a good is to remember that he calls us every day. And so it's not necessarily just this one-time event. It's not this one specific job. It's a voice that is actively speaking into our life every day. And so I think to begin is to remember that you are following someone. There is someone who speaks truth and life over your life, that cares for you deeply, and that partners with you to do the kingdom work that he has for the world. And so calling begins with remembering that you are following someone. And it's important to recognize too that the world has a lot of voices and a lot of things wants to pull for our attention, right? And so to remember that there are a lot of callings that might be calling out to you, but to make space intentionally to listen to him, the shepherd, the one that is leading us. And not every day are you going to hear something potentially audible or have something very specific. Sometimes calling is not specific. It is to remember that you are loved and that you are to love others. And that is like the umbrella for which we're moving through the world and through our life.